Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One, along with the effervescent, bubbly DC Hendricks this morning. I'm Jim Shovlin. Believe DC is a part-time motivational speaker.
Good morning. Yes, that's me.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, you're pumping everybody up this morning.
I haven't even had my coffee yet either.
You haven't?
No.
So there's not going to be a big crash here in
it definitely will. I had like 3 hours of sleep last night, so for sure.
Oh, well, there you go.
After the show, hopefully.
That sounds pretty good. I'm going to guard my coffee with my life right here. Okay. Anyway, hey, got a great show for you today. Oh, a packed show. First off, we're going to be talking with Justin Kenny from OutsideTheHuddle.net and OPS regarding the regional football titles that were gained last night by teams. Then we're going to shift gears, and we're going to talk to Fort Wayne Tin Caps President Mike Nutter in the second segment. And they've got the Parkview Field Holiday Lights. That this is the inaugural 150 Nights of Lights. And then, bottom of the hour, Mike McCaffrey, Athletic Director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. And the Cougar football team is at Olivet Nazarene today, and they are hoping to win outright an MSFA Midwest League title. And they've already qualified for the playoffs. And then, by the way, we're going to talk to Mike, too, because there's a gigantic basketball doubleheader taking place at the Hutzel Center today. The Crosstown Classic, basically. I don't know if they still call it that or not. But anyway, Indiana Tech invades the Hutzel Center to take on the St. Francis Cougars. And this should be a dandy. Women, both teams are very good. The men are as well. 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock are the scheduled start times. So we're going to talk to Mike about that. And then, if that wasn't enough, we're going to talk to Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets in our weekly Komet Chat. And the Komets took one on the chin last night to Kalamazoo in Kalamazoo, 4-1. They will play there again tonight at 7 p.m. Well, because the Dons, the Mastodons of PFW, have the Coliseum Court tonight. They will be taking on, I believe, Southern Indiana. So that will be a 7 o'clock tip at the Coliseum. Brett will have the call of that on 1380. Anyway, let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line powered by Fireplace City County Federal Credit Union and talk some high school football with Mr. Justin Kenny. Justin, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Well, I'm trying to be as bubbly as Mr. Hendricks, but I'm failing miserably. And I've had coffee. So anyway, he's just a bubbly person. I tell you what, yeah, he should have a talk show on TV or something. But
well, he's probably excited. He probably made a lot of money on betting on Jake Paul last night to beat Mike Tyson.
Justin, please don't get me started on that.
I don't. Yeah. Oh my. Oh.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time for that.
I hear you, buddy.
And for those that didn't have Netflix and weren't complaining about the buffering and everything.
Yeah, you didn't waste your time last night. You actually did something meaningful last night.
Nobody knew the actual outcome, and the outcomes on the internet, 9 out of 10 were incorrect, and just trying to goad you. One, I saw that Tyson won in the first round in 36 seconds, and Mr. Paul was removed from the ring on a backboard. Well, that didn't happen. Anyway, and of course, that's what I told my wife. She wakes up this morning and says, what were you talking about? Anyway, let's talk some football, Justin.
Let's do it.
How about the regional play last night? We'll start with 6A. The Carroll Chargers, Jimmy Sullivan ends just an outstanding career with the Chargers as they were beaten by Crown Point 38-21. All 3 touchdowns from Carroll came on Sullivan to Jaden Van Pelt strikes. My goodness. I think Jaden had 185 yards on 9 receptions in those 3 touchdowns. And Jimmy Sullivan finished out his Carroll career with 284 yards and those 3 scores to Mr. Van Pelt. But a great season for the Carroll Chargers.
It was. I mean, you look at SAC championship, sectional championship. This matchup just looked difficult as soon as we saw who and where Carroll was going to have to go this week. Crown Point, undefeated, a legit 6A team, had running clocked every single team they've played thus far. So I guess if you're looking at for small victories, Carroll wasn't running clock last night, but let Crown Point score the first 17 points of the game before Carroll was able to get on the board with the first of those 3 Sullivan to Van Pelt touchdown passes, and they just dug themselves too much of a hole. Crown Point just came out, really set the tone early, opened it with a field goal, got the ball back, scored a touchdown, got the ball back, scored another touchdown, and that was pretty much the game. Larry Ellison, 220 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground for Crown Point. Carroll just had no answer for him. And Crown Point moves on. They'll head to Westfield in the North Semi-State while Carroll ends the season with a successful year, but a capper of a game and a season for Jimmy Sullivan, who achieved so much with Carroll, and now he'll head to Iowa to be an Iowa Hawkeye.
Yes, indeed. Moving on to Class 5A, the Warsaw Tigers. How about them Tigers? 44-27 over the Lafayette Jeff Broncos, giving Lafayette Jeff their first and final loss of the season.
Well, this game was back and forth all game, guys, and I think it really changed on a Lafayette Jeff play. Late in the third quarter, it's tied, and Lafayette Jeff has to punt, and the snap goes over the head of the punter for a safety. And then just under 2 minutes later, when Warsaw gets the ball after that safety, is they score another touchdown and go up 9. And Lafayette Jeff was able to get within 3 in the fourth, but Warsaw just was really instilled its will, particularly on the ground. Drew Sullivan, 310 yards rushing. Yes, 310 yards rushing from his quarterback position. It was just a huge night for him and a huge night for Warsaw as a program to get to a semi-state in their first ever regional game at home last night. They outlast the Broncos 44-27. They will host Maryville next week in the 5A North Semi-State.
Yes, and Warsaw is a team in Class 5A that, wasn't, let's say, too highly regarded by those around the state coming in. Sagarin rating of 79.66, good for 25th overall in the state. But then, 5th in 5A, but still, they're knocking off teams left and right here. And so, now Maryville comes up next. Let's go to Class 4A. Huntington Northeast Noble, my goodness, the East Noble Knights, as impressive as they've been, they were even more impressive last night. Took advantage of every opportunity in a 52-17 win over the Vikings. They'll have Mishawaka next.
They will, and it was a dominant performance last night for East Noble. And you look at what they were able to do, particularly on the ground, and over close to 275 yards rushing. Dylan Krell, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dallas Plattner with a touchdown run, and this completely instilled their will. Huntington North was able to open the game with a field goal, and then next thing you knew, it was 39-3. And so just a dominant performance by East Noble. They move on. They just really look like a juggernaut, guys. I mean, at this point, taking care of business against Leo, taking care of business against Bishop Dwenger, dominating a team they already beat in a close game the first time around in the regular season. East Noble playing as well as anybody in this area that's moving on. They'll have a big challenge going to Mishawaka next week, but at this point, who's betting against the Knights?
Oh, yeah. I just after seeing them again it's as advertised. So best of luck to the Knights in a long journey here. Hopefully they'll be playing Thanksgiving weekend. Turning to Class 3A, a couple of local teams, if you will. Of course, it was the Garrett Railroaders over Knox 41-40. Garrett keeping their record intact, unblemished, now at 13-0. Knox bows out at 9-4. But this was a back and forth one as well.
Yeah, this one was a really good game, and you felt like maybe Knox was in control of this game, up 28-14 early in the fourth quarter, and really Garrett just turned it on from there. And Calder Hefty was huge last night. Miles McLaughlin for Knox, as advertised, the leading rusher in the state, and also did it with his arm as well as some key throws. But it's just the resilient nature of this Garrett team, guys, undefeated, and just refuses to go down. And you felt like last night, at times, we were seeing the end of this journey, and in the end, they pull it out in dramatic fashion. And now they'll move on to take on perennial power Bishop Luers, and in our only matchup next week between area teams. Isn't it amazing? We have to wait till semi-state to get a Garrett Luers matchup. It's just wild how things turn out sometimes.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah. And speaking of Luers, they were a 31-28 winner over McConaughey last night, giving McConaughey their first loss of the season. They bow out at 12-1. Luers now advances by virtue of a 9-4 record. But then now they'll take on an unbeaten Garrett team next week, which will mean 3 weeks in a row that the Luers Knights are facing an unbeaten team. A couple of weeks ago was Mississinawa. Last week, or this week, McConaughey, and then now Garrett. So coming up on Friday. But Luers and Coach Lindsay, here we go.
Yeah, we do. And this was a game, guys, that was 17-14 at halftime. It was 14-14 at one point. In the first half, Bishop Luers, 2 touchdowns that were called back due to penalty. Hal Lindsay was not happy, to say the least, at halftime, and his team turned it on in the third quarter. The score looks a little bit closer than what the game was. Once again, Bishop Luers maybe not closing out a team in the fourth quarter. It was similar to last week against Mississinawa. They made that game closer than it was, and McConaughey was able to do the same thing last night. So you look ahead for Bishop Luers. They get Garrett at home, but it's going to be the best team that they've played in the playoffs thus far, and they need to play a full 4 quarters. And it's going to come down to, you look at McConaughey, their strength was throwing. That was the strength of that defense for Bishop Luers. Next week, it's really going to be a battle in the trenches with Garrett wanting to instill and really dominate with that running game. So it's going to be a big challenge next week for Bishop Luers, but here they are, up a class and just 1 game away from advancing to a 3A state championship game, which I believe would be the first time that Bishop Luers has made the state championship game as a 3A team.
That's remarkable with that program's history and just everything. I believe they've tied. I can't remember the team they've tied for regional titles, but this is their 23rd, I believe, in the history of the program. So, or since they started doing state tournaments. So, congrats to Luers. Now let's head on to Class 2A, and of course in 1A. Let's go to Adams County. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Adams Central 42-7 over Eastern from Greentown. Oh, hum, just another day at the office for the 12-1 Flying Jets at the landing strip at Minnick Field last night. Here we go. Is this setting up the big game? Kind of a collision course, I guess, in Class 2A with Adams Central. Of course, they've got to face an Andrean team next week before anything else can happen. But Indianapolis Lutheran was a winner, 35-0 over LaPel. Linton, 22-21 victor over Brownstown Central. But, we always talk about Adams Central and Indy Lutheran clicking on all cylinders. The Adams Central Flying Jets certainly are.
They continue to roll, Jim, and this game was 7-all at halftime, and there was a lot of nervous people in Monroe in the stands last night, and then Adams Central just comes out and outscores Eastern 35-0 in the second half. Adams Central goes over 325 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns, ho-hum, same old, same old. But as you mentioned, the challenge gets bigger next week, having to go to Andrean, and we're finally going to see what it means to go up a class. And Adams Central, for 3 straight years, has been able to effectively breeze through Class 1A in the North. It's not that easy in 2A. Andrean knocked off Lafayette State halfway. Going to Andrean, battling the 59ers is going to be, and this is what really around Full Lutheran, they're going to have to figure out a way on its next Friday.
I tell you what, Justin, you're cutting in and out just a little bit on that one, but heading to 1A, it was South Adams over North Miami 40-21. South Adams now will meet North Judson for that right to head to Indianapolis on Thanksgiving weekend.
Just a quick start for South Adams last night. Got up 20-0 in this game, 14-0 after the first quarter. And it was more Titus Lehman last night, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air. 2 of those passes to Wesley Somerset, who's been huge since coming back from his injury. Aiden Neuenschwander, another touchdown reception. Will Patterson went over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns on the ground. So a very, very impressive performance. Once again, faced a team that can move the ball on the ground. North Miami, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. But 1A foes in the North have struggled to really combat the South Adams passing game. But another big, big challenge for South Adams next week. They have to go to undefeated and the number 1 ranked team in Class 1A in North Judson next week.
Yes, indeed. Well, Justin, thank you so much for joining us, and can we count on you to chime in next week as well?
Yeah, let's book it, fellas.
All right, sounds good. Justin, we will talk to you next Saturday.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, that was Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net. We're going to go ahead, step out, take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking with Mike Nutter, and a festive Mike Nutter, president of Fort Wayne Tin Caps. A whole lot going on at Parkview Field. They don't really know how to take time off, I guess. Oh, well, whatever. But anyway, we'll do all that when we return. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
How do you thank the people that add so much to our lives? How do you celebrate a community that brings out the best in all of us? You give back. In 2022, McMahon's Best One gave more than $100,000 to local organizations that are always there to lift us up, to listen, to strengthen us, every one of us. Throughout the year, McMahon's Best One will continue to give back to the community that has given so much to us, bringing out the best in each other, together.
Take 1380 The Fan with you wherever you go with the free 1380 The Fan app. Listen to our shows including Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, and The Sports Rush with Brett Rump. Plus, you can go to our social media pages and download the latest episodes of our podcast on demand and listen to live events and alternate broadcasts too. Download the free 1380 The Fan app for your smartphone today. Only on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
It's a harsh fact of life, but failure is inevitable.
You can work harder than you ever thought possible and still lose.
Sometimes someone else is simply better than you.
While life teaches us that we will sometimes lose, education-based athletics teach us how to deal with those losses in a mentally healthy way. I'm Bella Miller-Krieger from University High School.
And I'm Charlie Hosnow from Forest Park High School. With our coaches and teammates supporting us, student athletes learn how to move past the letdown and focus on the next point, the next play, and the next game.
We learn that negative energy is wasted energy, and that no matter how many times we fall short, as long as we are learning and never give up, we'll ultimately win.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Be a champion of high school sports and the resiliency they build by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is overcoming adversity. This is developing mental toughness. This is your IHSAA.
Many veterans in active duty military have invisible wounds like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety. Help Heal Veterans offers them medicine that doesn't come in a bottle by providing free therapeutic craft kits, time-tested healing tools for invisible wounds that can help relieve pain and improve mobility and fine motor skills. HealVets.org, healing the invisible wounds of war through creativity. HealVets.org, sponsored by Help Heal Veterans.
As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been helping people live longer and more independent lives.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. Learn more at MDA.org.
Now back to Talkin' Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Rocking around the Christmas.
Welcome back to Talkin' Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. As we said, the bubbly DC Hendricks this morning hitting the rejoins prophetically.
Thank you.
Like that.
Appreciate that.
Yes, indeed. Well, anyway, let's go to the Talkin' Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because on that Talkin' Sports phone line is the Summit City Santa, none other than Fort Wayne Tin Caps president Mike Nutter. Mike, good morning, sir.
Good morning. That's the best intro in all the years of doing this. And we have had an absolute blast the last two nights, and that'll continue tonight.
Oh my goodness! And tell the listeners about what's going on. This is the Parkview Field holiday lights. Started on Thursday and goes until January 4th. A total of, I believe, 50 days. And tell us how people can get involved and what it costs and things like this.
Absolutely. So it's the first year we've ever done this. There's literally just about 1.1 million lights strung around Parkview Field. I've been joking with people the last couple nights. There's also about 150,000 zip ties out there because we counted them, because our staff that we've highlighted so many times over the years, we're the ones that hung the display.
Oh, my.
And, it took 5.5 weeks. We had full-time people. We had part-time people. We were doing about 16 people a day from 9 in the morning to 4 or 5 in the afternoon, Monday to Friday. It looks absolutely awesome. Why do it? Well, because we feel like we've been making memories, and families been making memories for 15 seasons out there during the summer, and we felt like we could bring people down to the ballpark a lot more and have them eat in restaurants and go to bars and pay to park and all those kinds of things to help the local economy. And so fans can go to tincaps.com/lights. It has the schedule. It has the pricing. We tried to do it just like Tin Caps and keep it affordable. And so it's $10 to get in. There are group rates of 20 or more that's less than that. And in that, you come in, you can walk around the concourse. You can go down to the field and walk around the entire warning track. There's a craft room for the little kids that's no additional cost. They can write letters to Santa, design Christmas ornaments, play penguin bowling that I didn't even know was a thing until a couple of days ago, and some other fun stuff. There's fire pits in center field if people want to grill out s'mores. There's a kids' train. The train is the one thing that's additional. It's $5 per ride for the kids, and it's been packed the last two nights with a line to get on it. The kids go around a full ride on the concourse. Jim, for me, one of the coolest things has been seeing these young boys and girls come running in the gates. My son turned 21 the other day. I know how old your kids are now, your grandkids and stuff. to see the joy and the excitement, what we try and do in the summer months, and now we're trying to capture it here. And so Johnny's out there as Johnny Claus, dressed up in his full Santa suit. He'll be out there every night. There's tons of photo opportunities for families. There's a sleigh. I bet 50 to 100 families the last 2 nights have taken their holiday card that they're going to use for Christmas cards and things like that. And it's just an absolute blast. There's been a lot of joy around there. And people that we know that are coming up. I saw Dan and Deb Scheib the other night on the opening night. They could be listening right now and just walking up. And it's like, we just want to contribute and be a part of what's going on. We want to be clear. We're partners and friends with the people that do the one at Franke Park. There's been a Johnny light up out there for a long time. We love the Embassy and Kelly Updike and her team and the Festival of Trees and everything that goes on around. None of this was to be negative to anybody else. It was, hey, we've got this award-winning ballpark, and let's do some stuff. So we signed a 5-year deal with a partner that supplied all the lights. We've hung everything. We did all the labor. There's some concession stuff that people will know from the Tin Caps, and then there's some new stuff. And so it's a lot of fun. Wednesday nights, you can still bring your dog. Thursday or Thirsty Thursday, and we were tracking it. I think hot chocolate outpaced the beers the other night. And
what?
So, yeah, hey, we'll get better as the weeks go. So just an absolute blast, a lot of fun.
Yeah, Mike, to give you your first review, because myself and my family were out there for opening night on Thursday, and I will say the train is a huge hit. Like that line, first of all, it moves quickly, so don't be worried about any like long lines. Moves quickly, but just wanted to give you your first review. I think you guys did a great job, but I wanted to get your, I guess, initial reaction. You know, it's already been a couple of nights, so how has everything been from your perspective in the first couple of nights?
Really good, DC, and I appreciate you saying that about your family's experience. It was great seeing everybody the other night. We learned quite a bit on the first night, so we changed the train pickup location for last night. We changed a couple other things. We added a little more signage. We actually added some more lights. And so it's been really cool. What we tell people is by no means is this on the scope of the Tin Caps, right? Like a good Tin Caps game is 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 fans out there. You know, we hope to do over 50 nights, maybe 50,000 people. We have no idea. We don't even think it's really in the biggest holiday season yet. And we were happy last night that we were just under 2,000 people.
Wow.
It's leisurely. You can... So like tonight is 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Ewing Street is actually going to be closed tonight because the city was able to get the Capitol Christmas tree coming in, but they can still get to it. It's unlike a ball game where you've got to be in your seat at 7:05 or this kind of stuff. It's a lot more leisurely. People are asking, well, how long does it take? We've seen people there a couple of hours. We've seen people that are in and out in an hour. And so the feedback has been awesome. The staff, Tony Desplaines worked his first one last night, and, man, he was grinning from ear to ear the entire night because it's new for us, too. And so our sister team in Columbia, South Carolina, did it their first year. They did 20,000 tickets, and the second year they did 30,000 tickets, and same promoter and stuff. And they're just trying to build family memories. We want to be a place that people think of all summer long, and this is a chance to, over a month or a month and a half, to do some more stuff in the winter, and early returns are really positive. We'll have to see when the blizzard starts and the snow comes and all that stuff, but we're going to try and do it rain or shine and see how it goes.
That'll just make it even more festive for the holidays. We're talking this morning with Mike Nutter, president of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, in our seasonal Tin Caps chat. And, Mike, a couple of texts have come in on the text line at 260-447-8500. The first one says, can groups buy tickets for holiday lights for a specific night, or do they have to be undated tickets only?
Great question. So we never do undated tickets for Tin Caps because our thought is we want to make it all, each one a big event as much as you can. We changed that for holiday lights. And so the quick answer is they can do either.
Okay.
They could call up and they could say, we want 20 or more constitutes a group. We want 20 for December 10th, just randomly. or they can say we want 20 night or whenever they wanted. And it's been, people have appreciated the undated because there's a little concern with, like, am I going to buy a big group and then it's really snowing that day or something? But like you said, I've met 100 people the last 2 nights that say we're going to come back when it is snowing. So we can see it like that and things like that. So really, really cool.
Yeah, and in fact, when we booked this interview, I told my wife that you were going to be on this morning and talking about the holiday lights. She goes, don't tell me. I want to be surprised. And I thought, okay,
that's awesome.
You certainly can. Hey, another text came in on the text line at 260-447-8500. It says, TS, where can we get info on becoming a host family for the Tin Caps next season?
So that is a great question. I would tell them, why don't we just give them my email? So if they're listening, it's Nutter, Nutter, at tincaps.com. We haven't done it the last couple years. Major League Baseball has changed a lot of stuff. The Padres have. But there's some chance that it's going to come back. Whether it's 2025 or not, I'm not sure. But I would love to hear from them, get their info, and follow up as soon as we're cleared to be able to start doing that stuff again. Great question.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to get down there and see it and just take it all in. Christmas is my favorite holiday of the year, and this is going to just enhance everything. Well, I mean, downtown is a great place to be during the Christmas holiday season anyway, with everything going on and everything lit up. And then now this just enhances once again the experience of the holidays. And just think of the memories that you're making for not only the children, but the adults too. And I think that's awesome. I mean,
absolutely.
It put DC in such a good mood. Now he's still just in such a vibrant mood after being down there.
Well, he told me he wanted to make sure that he was on the nice list. You know, he didn't want any more coal this year. And so I think that's going to carry through the new year.
Well, that'd probably be debatable. But
last year was rough, Shelby. Last year was rough. I was very disappointed in the coal.
Okay. Well, Mike, thank you so much, and we'll see you when we get down there.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. That was Mike Nutter, president of Fort Wayne Tin Caps and Summit City Santa. Hey, let's take a break and then come back, and let's talk to Mike Nutter. We've got a very packed show, so we needn't dally. So we'll be back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. If you looked at your auto or homeowner's insurance rate lately, think it's about time to get a competitive quote? Call the Wise Insurance Agency today at 260-747-5373. Located at 7410 Bluffton Road, Wise Insurance is a local company that's been in business for 25 years. Being an independent agent working with over 15 A-plus rated carriers allows Coach Ron Wise to assess your needs and determine the best option for you to give you maximum coverage with the most affordable premiums. The Wise Insurance Agency also offers motorcycle, RV, and watercraft insurance, as well as renter's insurance, flood, and umbrella policies. Multi-policy discounts are also available, and make sure to ask Ron about the good student discount up to 20%. Let Coach Wise show you the fundamentals of getting the right insurance. Don't put it off. Contact Coach Ron and the Wise Insurance Agency team today at 260-747-5373 or find them online at thewiseinsuranceagency.com.
At Romac Mechanical, your independent American Standard dealer, we're committed to your needs. David says
Romac did an awesome job getting our furnace fixed. Very straightforward and honest about the problem and solutions.
And Becky says
the best. In my experience, Romac has been top-notch in customer satisfaction and response time. I can recommend them highly.
Call 260-484-3076 and trust your heating and cooling needs to Romac Mechanical, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. In recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking. By you. Donate at V.org. Because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on a Saturday, November 16th, 2024. And in fact, I had that date circled on my calendar because there's a basketball doubleheader at the Hutzel Center today that I want to see, and that's Indiana Tech and the University of St. Francis Cougars going at it. And it should be a lot of fun, but there's also a football game now, albeit on the road, but let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line powered by Fireplace City County Federal Credit Union, because on there, waiting patiently, is University of St. Francis Athletic Director Mike McCaffrey. And good morning, Mike.
Good morning, buddy. I'm coming to you live from beautiful 30 West, heading towards Bourbonnais, Illinois, to Olivet Nazarene University.
All right. Well, yeah, and Olivet Nazarene is the only, not really even a stumbling. Well, they're a stumbling block for the Cougars to take an outright MSFA divisional title and not having to share it, because what fun is that? But, the Cougs, my goodness, heading on the road, but still playing some darn good football right now.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of took the pressure off last week with the help from our friends at the University of St. Francis in Illinois. So our victory at home over St. Xavier, and then combine that with St. Francis, Illinois' win over Olivet Nazarene last week, basically clinched the playoffs for us, because we'll at worst win a tiebreaker over another 4-1 team today. But if we go take care of business here at Olivet and get to 5-0 in the division, then we would win it outright. But with the tiebreaker over either Marion or St. Francis, Illinois, because we beat them both head-to-head, and one of them is going to finish 4-1 today down in Indianapolis. So if we were to stumble today, we'd go to 4-1 in the division. We'd have the tiebreaker over them, and we're going to the playoffs. But as you said, there's no fun in sharing things, and I don't think our guys want to share this title with anybody. So that's why I'm heading out here to Olivet to watch our boys kind of take care of business and then accomplish something that's been a few years in the making, and it's been a few years since we've been in the playoffs. So I know this group of guys is excited. No one on this team has been in the playoffs in the NAIA, so it's a little different from where we used to be, where every year this was kind of a given. We've had to claw and work our way back to it, but it's fun, and it's great for Coach D and this staff and this group of student athletes to be where they are today. Yeah,
I was going to say it's got to be extra special for Coach Donnelly to be returning to the NAIA playoffs after, my gosh, back-to-back NAIA national championships, and then they falling on a little bit of hard times as far as being able to reach the playoffs, but now back ascending. This program is still alive, still vibrant, and he's done a great job with he and his assistants.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, it's been a tough year. You go back to the spring, and we lose a teammate, Jaden Morris, to gun violence here in Fort Wayne, and had to rally our guys together, and was a tough spring for them. But I think it helped bring these guys really close and allow them to play for something other than themselves. And you can see when a team does that, when they buy in, when they really love the guy next to them, that they accomplish things that maybe even they didn't think they could. And Great to be back in the playoffs. We win today. We might be able to host one next weekend. That's the goal, and then we'll find out tomorrow if that's the case.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask, what would it take to be able to host? And I know at one point previously in the NAIA playoffs, wasn't it? Was there a little bit of a bid process, or was that after the first round?
No, so everybody who's going to the playoffs is required. Well, you're not required, but you submit a bid. You put in a bid at the beginning, which means you'll host any round, and there's a financial commitment that you have to put forth for that, and then you try to make as much money back as you can. So we submitted our bid that no matter what round we're selected to host, we would host. I've yet to see a team that hasn't bid when they were in a position to host, so it's pretty much a given that you're going to do that. And so we've got to finish in the top 16 in order to host next week. If you look at the coaches poll, we were 18 this week. But if you go into a little deeper of a rating, there's the thing called the ARC, which is more of a regional rating, and they put you in a grouping with another conference. We're with the Great Plains Athletic Conference out in Iowa. So we're number 4 in our ARC right now, and there's a few teams behind us in the ARC that are actually ahead of us in the coaches poll. So I feel like we're going to jump a few spots. I think if we win today, we get into the top 16 and hopefully host. But you never know when it's up to a selection committee and a group of administrators and former coaches in a room deciding who's going to beat who and who deserves what seeding. You just never know where it's going to end up. It's not as easy to predict as it used to be when you just go through the top 16 of the coaches poll. Now with the selection committee, it's up to some other people, so that's why we got to go take care of business today. I think 9-2 is a great finishing mark for us, and will get us where we need to be hopefully next week. Indeed.
And if listeners want to follow along with the Cougars game today at Olivet Nazarene, how can that be accomplished?
Yeah, Olivet does a real nice broadcast, so they can jump online, go to our website, or they're on YouTube. I think you can go to YouTube and find the Olivet Nazarene channel, and you can watch it there if you want to, or we're on WGL over on 1250 with Joe Parson if you're in Fort Wayne and not by a smart TV and just wanted to listen on the radio. Okay. We're talking this morning with Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. Now let's segue over to basketball and a big doubleheader today. The Lady Cougars are hosting the Indiana Tech Warrior women at 1 p.m. at the Hutzel Center, and then the men of the University of St. Francis go up against the Indiana Tech Warriors men at 3 p.m. today. And is this still kind of the crosstown rivalry? Yeah, I mean, no question. You've got two NAIA schools within 5 miles of each other, and both with competitive basketball programs. I think it's turned into a fun day for Fort Wayne. I don't know the last time we did an actual doubleheader. So usually we play them on different days, but this was nice to be able to get it into one day so the fans can come watch both teams play. And you've got 4 really good basketball teams. I know our both on the women's side are both ranked. We're trying to get ranked on the men's side, but it's always fun. The women on Indiana Tech side have had our number the last couple of years, and vice versa on the men's side. I think it's been a while since we've lost to Indiana Tech, but even the year they went to the national title game, we got them here in Fort Wayne. So you never know. Throw the records out. A bunch of good local kids and regional kids that are going to go battle today, and 4 great coaches that have done an awesome job leading these programs. And it's going to be fun. I wish I was there, but early in the basketball season and the last football game to maybe clinch a division, I had to make a decision, and my decision was to head west. But I know we were going to have a great crowd, and our administrators will be there to hold it down, and Coach Lacrosse and Coach Henney are jacked up and ready to try to keep their momentum going. We've done a pretty good job against the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference so far. Crossroads League seems to be winning most of those games that have happened early on in the season, so we definitely want to keep that going.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, bring us home a win from Olivet Nazarene today, and that'll make everything just a little bit sweeter. That's for sure, Mike. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mike, and safe travels, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks, Jimmy. Have a great weekend. Go Cougs.
All right. That was Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. We're going to step out, take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. We'll do that when we return. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Miss an episode of one of your via the podcast. Whether it's the Sports Rush with Brent Rump or Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin, you can download the latest episodes for free and listen on demand. Just search for your favorite show on your favorite podcasting platform or click on the podcast tab at 1380thefan.com. Only on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-936-0754. 800-936-0754. 800-936-0754. That's 800-936-0754.
You know Penn Station East Coast Subs always hits with the tastiest hot grilled subs, fresh cut fries, and fresh squeezed lemonade. But now it's time to kick it up a notch. For a limited time, try the new Ghost Pepper Cheesesteak. That melty, gooey goodness is pure heat. Not feeling steak? No problem. You can add their fiery Ghost Pepper Cheese Twist to your favorite Penn Station sub or wrap if you dare. Visit your nearest Penn Station East Coast Subs today or penn-station.com for easy online ordering. Ghost Pepper Cheese. Get it before it vanishes at Penn Station East Coast Subs.
If your loved one has stopped seeing friends because hearing loss prevents the use of the telephone, please help them by visiting RelayIndiana.com. RelayIndiana.com provides captioned telephones that allow the hard of hearing to have phone conversations through voice recognition technology. The other person's words appear on an easy-to-read screen. Help your loved one stay in touch with their family and friends by getting them the CapTel captioned telephone from Relay Indiana. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
Animals are languishing in U.S. shelters, especially dogs who look a certain way. These dogs are just as deserving of loving homes as any type of dog, which is why we decided to help them get out of kennels. Join the thousands of supporters of our mission to help us expand our national reach and proudly place more dogs from kennels into their forever homes. To learn more about our mission, please visit us at kenneltocouch.org.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. That's DC Hendricks over there, spinning the tunes. I'm Jim Shovlin, and we are talking sports. That's right, talking sports of all sorts this morning. DC, you've got some breaking news.
Yeah, I mean, it happened about 30 minutes ago. So obviously the talk of college football has been Curt Cignetti and the Indiana Hoosiers, who have their second highest ranking in school history.
Yes.
Approaching that category. But Curt Cignetti has signed an 8-year contract extension with the Hoosiers. He will be with the Hoosiers until 2032. So basically it adds 2 years on his current deal, and he will get $8 million a year to be Indiana's football coach, and will go down, as of right now, as the highest employee in Hoosier history.
Wow. And as successful as he's been, Brian Kelly's still making more money.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Anyway.
That's crazy.
Oh, you know what? Let's just talk hockey. Let's talk hockey. Let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fireplace City County Federal Credit Union, because on that is the Fort Wayne Komets play-by-play voice, Mr. Shane Albahrani. Shane, good morning.
Hey, Jimmy.
I'll tell you what, Komets in Kalamazoo last night. The Wings prevailed by a score of 4-1. But wait a minute. We'll play again tonight at 7 p.m. and see if we can't right the ship just a little bit. And what I read this morning in, I believe, Justin Cohn's account was the first time the Komets have lost back-to-backs this season.
Yeah, you only have Komets have only had 2 losses, and unfortunately, 2 have been to Kalamazoo. So 3 losses, and 2 have been to Kalamazoo. So this team unfortunately is going to give us fits, I think, all season long. Indeed, and as things are, of course, and the Komets have been on the road quite a bit. At home last week and came back and got a big victory over the K-Wings. And now it's a case where the Komets are home after tonight. Let's see, a home game on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And then the following Saturday. Cincinnati. Yeah. So back home, and then the big Thanksgiving weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on Coliseum ice. That's going to have to bode well for the K's. But you've got Florida coming in. They're right now the top team in the league. They're the defending 3-time Kelly Cup champions. The schedule doesn't get any easier for the Komets, unfortunately. But last night they played a great first period and 17 shots on goal and did not score. And you had a feeling like, wow, if Kalamazoo scores the first goal, I think we're going to be sunk. And that's what happened. The Komets were unable to score the first goal, got behind, just unable to dig out of it. So, like you said, we go back at it again. We can make it up. You can have a split for the week. We lost in Wheeling Tuesday morning. So, you win today, you win tomorrow at home, and it's a wash for the week. But, this team is still growing. We're still early in the season, but right now to be 7-3 is pretty good. Well, and as you've even said recently, this is a little different Komet team than we've seen in the last year or so, and it's one that's got talent, got more team speed, and a little more resilient. Yeah, again, they skated circles around Kalamazoo in the first period. It was just a shame that you couldn't get that first goal, and I think if the Komets had scored that first goal, I think the score maybe would have flipped, but. The Komets have also ran into some really, really good goaltending Tuesday in Wheeling. There was nothing else the Komets could have done. I mean, they literally played a perfect game. They just didn't score more goals, and it was because of the goaltending. The same thing happened last night in Kalamazoo. So it'll be interesting to see if Kalamazoo starts Jonathan Lemieux in back-to-back games. We're talking this morning with Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. And Shane, I got a question regarding the teddy bear toss that's taking place here in early December. Typically, if I'm not mistaken, the recipient has been Toys for Tots in the past, and it looks like they're not going to be doing anything this year. So will there be other recipients of the teddy bears? Yeah, it looks like Goodwill is going to step up and help us out. This year, another great cause. They'll be out there collecting the bears. They're going to, of course, provide the truck and to haul them away. But, it looks like Goodwill will be the recipient of the bears this year. Goodwill and my friend Kevin Morse, the president and CEO, what a great individual he is. And a big Komet fan, too. Yeah. A gigantic Komet fan, that's for sure. Well, it's so is – coming into the holiday season, of course, the season of giving and everything, and I just talked about the teddy bear toss, but what are some of the other things that are going to be going on during the holiday season? You got Thanksgiving, of course, the traditional game. It's the Bob Chase Memorial Game, and the Komets will be wearing special throwback jerseys. I believe we got a kids' seat free night there on that Friday. So, really kind of concentrating on those 3 games that weekend. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's the first time we've ever played 3 games in a row over Thanksgiving weekend. So it's a chance to bring the whole family. If you got family coming out, you can bring everyone to the games those 3 nights, and it should be a lot of fun. And finally, Shane, before we let you go, how's the Komet mascot dog, Sheriff, doing? Sheriff's doing great. We're coming up on a year since his amputation on his leg, and it's amazing that it's been a year, and he hasn't had any complications or problems since that day, and so he is healthier and happier than ever.
What a great animal and what a great family to be part of there. My goodness, yeah, followed it along, and my wife is just, yeah, well, okay, she's the one that told me to ask you. So, well, Shane, thank you for joining us. Where can fans listen to the game tonight?
96.3 XKE at 7 o'clock.
All right. Well, Shane, we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
All right. That was Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. And before this morning gets away from us, a couple things to add. Of course, how about those Purdue Boilermakers, 87-78 over number 2 Alabama, because now Zach Edey is applying his trade with the Memphis Grizzlies, who were beaten by Golden State last night. But he had 14 points, 9 rebounds in just under 25 minutes of play. So congratulations to him. But, yeah, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Kaufman-Wren doing it for Matt Painter's Boilers. Don't forget college football today. You got Notre Dame home to Virginia at 3:30. Also Purdue home to Penn State at 3:30. And as we said earlier, USF at Olivet Nazarene. That's a 1 o'clock game. No football today for IU or Ball State, who fired Mike New last evening. And, yeah, that's pretty much it until next Saturday. Have a great week, everybody.
Podcasts by Federated Media.